The Senate acquitted former President Trump in his second impeachment trial, but that does not spell the end of his legal troubles. NBC News legal analyst Danny Cevallos joins us now to walk us through three cases that could get Trump back in court, one that's not political. So, Danny, let's circle back to what Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said after the acquittal vote. We just heard it there, that Donald Trump is, quote, practically and morally responsible for the insurrection. So could this actually play out in the courts?
It could theoretically, but if there was no conviction on based on his speech at impeachment court, it's very unlikely, or at least he has a stronger, more robust First Amendment defense to the exact same charges in criminal or even civil court. And that's because the First Amendment does protect speech, political speech, and has in the past, the Supreme Court has protected speech that is arguably even worse than the words that President Trump uttered. But I caution that no two First Amendment cases are alike because no set of speech, no combination of words, and no context is ever exactly the same.
Now, Danny, Manhattan District Attorney Cy Vance is looking into loans for Trump's buildings, and New York Attorney General Letitia James has a civil case for the Trump Organization. What is it that they're investigating?
Well, first, you have Attorney General Letitia James. What most folks don't normally know is that the Attorney General for a particular state doesn't just investigate criminal acts. They are a criminal law enforcement agency, but they also bring civil actions, for example, to investigate, and Letitia James has done this, to investigate charities and other civil things that otherwise might not be investigated by any law enforcement branch. But the greatest threat to President Trump or former President Trump has always been, in my opinion, it spawned from the day Michael Cohen, his former attorney, walked into federal court, raised his hand and said, I committed a crime, and the person who did it was, guess who, the former president. And that probe that Cy Vance, the Manhattan District Attorney, has flown, the genesis was that statement, essentially. And that is and was still, in my opinion, the greatest criminal threat that President Trump faces.
And Danny, let's take a trip down to Georgia again, which came up during impeachment. The House managers mentioned Trump's phone call to try to pressure the Georgia Secretary of State to, quote, find votes. Now there is a criminal probe. Where could that go?
Georgia state law, like many states, has a law that prohibits any kind of fraudulent effort to alter voting results in an election. And a lot of states have those rules. But again, going back to the First Amendment, no two sets of First Amendment defenses to a criminal charge are exactly the same because it's not the exact same situation. There may never be another situation where a president calls up a Georgia official and does what he did in this case. But there's always a First Amendment defense to something like this where only the words uttered are the basis of the potential charges. So a prosecutor who is choosing to bring this case or not must weigh that heavily and recognize that there may be a very big defense to those words.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.